Section 408.22 of the National Electrical Code, NEC, permits taps from the main lugs of the main service distribution panel, also known as the main service panel, under specific conditions. These conditions are critical for ensuring safe and compliant electrical installations. The first requirement pertains to conductors and equipment rating. The conductors and equipment employed in the tap must be adequately rated for the current demanded by the second panel or disconnect. This means calculating the total load that the second panel or disconnect will handle and selecting conductors and equipment with appropriate ampacity ratings. It is important to consult NEC tables for proper conductor sizing based on ampacity and insulation type. Secondly, overcurrent protection is a mandatory aspect. The tap conductors must be safeguarded by an overcurrent device, which can be either a circuit breaker or a fuse. This overcurrent device must be positioned at the point where the tap conductors connect to the main lugs. Its purpose is to interrupt the circuit in the event of an overload or short circuit, thereby preventing damage to the conductors and equipment. Thirdly, regarding the circuit breaker location, should a circuit breaker be utilized for overcurrent protection, it is imperative that it is situated in a readily accessible location. This accessibility ensures that the breaker can be easily reset or serviced as needed, which is vital for maintaining the safety and functionality of the electrical system. Fourthly, tap length is a key consideration. The tap conductors must be kept as short as practically feasible. Shorter tap conductors reduce the risk of voltage drop and minimize the potential for fault currents. While there is no specific length limitation prescribed in the NEC for all situations, the principle is to minimize the distance to maintain electrical safety and efficiency. Fifthly, identification is also important. Tap conductors must be distinctly identified as such. This clear identification is essential for facilitating future maintenance, troubleshooting, and inspections. Proper labeling helps to avoid confusion and ensures that electricians and other qualified personnel can readily recognize the nature and purpose of these conductors. Regarding additional considerations, firstly, panel location. The second panel or disconnect must be positioned in accordance with Section 408.35 of the NEC. This section mandates that the panel be accessible and not exposed to physical damage. Accessibility ensures ease of maintenance and operation, while protection from physical damage safeguards the equipment from potential hazards. Secondly, size of taps. Determining the appropriate size of the tap conductors hinges on the load requirements of the second panel or disconnect, as well as the distance between the main lugs and the second panel. Careful calculation of the load and consideration of voltage drop are necessary to ensure the correct conductor size is selected. The disconnect used in the tap can be either fused or non-fused. If a fused disconnect is chosen, the fuse must be rated for the current required by the second panel or disconnect. The fuse rating should be selected to protect the conductors and equipment from overcurrent conditions. In summary, tapping from the main service panel lugs is permissible under NEC Section 408.22. Provided that all stipulated conditions are met. These conditions encompass conductor and equipment rating, overcurrent protection, circuit breaker location, tap length, identification, panel location, and size of taps. Adhering to these guidelines ensures a safe and compliant electrical installation. When dealing with electrical installations, it is always advisable to consult the latest edition of the NEC and seek guidance from qualified electrical professionals. This will help ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards, as well as promote safety in the electrical system.